How's it going, guys? Fran here live from the E3 show floor. Our E3 live show already has some fantastic games, so let's keep the good times coming. Up next, we have Nathan Drake's latest and greatest adventure, Uncharted 3. Anthony is now with Naughty Dog to take a look, so let's check it out.
Thanks, Fran. I'm here with Naughty Dog to show Uncharted 3. So what we're seeing right now is single player, but I want to take a brief moment. Uncharted has always had a rich single player experience, but you guys have been aggressively expanding on multiplayer.
That's right. So basically, we wanted to take the action-adventure, cinematic feel of our single-player experience and put it into multiplayer in a new and interesting way. And on top of that, we really wanted the most number of people to be able to experience it because we think it's something that's really cool. So we partnered with Subway, and in October, we're actually going to give away the entire competitive experience for free, which we think is really cool.
Yeah, I think that'll be a great way for people to kind of try the waters that only think of Uncharted as a single player
Exactly,
game.
exactly.
So here we see, Nathan kind of doing some stealth mechanics, which is also new to the game. I mean, there was vaguely touched upon in 2, but in 3 it seems to be much more emphasized.
Yeah, I mean, we have more sequences in which stealth is a choice. We don't ever want to force the player to play, our way. So they can either go stealth, they can go guns blazing, whatever
Right now,
want.
Nathan, if he wanted, could just go in and start
shooting
tearing
everybody.
up the place.
Now, it might be way harder if you do that. The game might, get more difficult if you try to shoot everybody when you should be trying to be quiet, but it's certainly not impossible. It's a lot like Uncharted 2 in the sense that we want it to feel like you can play the game your way and not be punished.
So, the Uncharted games have always been very story-driven.
Yeah.
And also self-contained. Each game you can play on its own and kind of understand. Is Uncharted a trilogy? Is it a franchise that goes until it goes?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, right now we're completely focused on Uncharted 3, obviously, and getting it out the door and making it amazing. But I think there's a lot of stories to be told in the Uncharted universe. There's a lot of places we haven't gone yet, a lot of things left to do. So I don't know. I don't know what we'll do next, but I don't think by any stretch we're tapped for ideas in the Uncharted universe.
What is it that you think about Uncharted as far, there are a lot of third-person shooters out there. What is it that you think about Uncharted kind of resonates with people the way it does?
I think because of the characters. I mean, honestly, you can do all kinds of cool action, adventure, epic set pieces, right? I think we do that really well, don't get me wrong. But I think because we have characters that resonate with people, Nathan Drake feels like a real guy. I think Elena feels like a real woman. And their relationships are complex and interesting. And I think that, that people feel like they can feel like they relate to the characters because of that.
We talk about, obviously we know Elena's returning, we know Nathan's returning, Sully. Are there any other characters from the franchise that maybe we've seen before that we can expect to see again?
Chloe's in it again, obviously, and so a few other ones. I don't really want to talk about my other stuff, but that's our core group right there. Sully, Elena, Chloe, and Drake, obviously, as our core group right now in the Uncharted universe.
So it's very common with sequels these days to make each one bigger and better, more crazy. How is it, is Uncharted going to go in that route? Is it going to get crazy and just be way more than it is before? Or is it, kind of sticking to the it's always had very, very pacing.
Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, I think we want to stick with the pacing that we've sort of established as being, solid for our franchise. But I mean, a sequence like this on the boat is infinitely more complex than anything we've done before in terms of technically. But we're not going to go so like Drake in space, right? I don't think that's where we're headed. But in terms of in a technical way, this game is far, far more complex than the last game was.
Well, can you speak on that more?
Sure,
What's going on?
Yeah, basically, you're right now. So the last game we had a train that was moving. It had miles and miles of track, and it was kind of going like this. This is a boat in the middle of the ocean that's going like this, and so Drake has all kinds of special animation states, all kinds of things that make him look like he's on a boat. Not to mention the fact that we have this cool water tech that's filling up this hold. Eventually, right here, what's going to happen is the water's going to get to the top, and it's actually going to flip the boat over right here. All of this happening while you're playing in real time. All of this stuff is very, very complex. We're basically flipping the world over while you're playing, which we definitely didn't do last time.
Uncharted has always been very big into telling story through cutscenes. But I think that a lot of games fail at that. What is it about Uncharted that you think makes it to where people can, kind of really get into the story?
Well, I think there's a couple things. One is that because we record our audio at the same time as we do our mocap, they're real performances. It's not like they do the motion capture, and then 8 months later they come into an ADR studio and then record the dialogue. It's more like shooting a TV show. You do a couple scenes and then they all do their lines right there. And so when you put it in the game, they feel like they're real experiences and they're really acting off of each other.
So the section we're seeing where, Drake's obviously in this boat full of people that are out to get him.
Yeah.
How has he ended up in this situation?
I can't talk about that, unfortunately. This is a really cool part of the game, and I don't want to spoil anything, but Drake is definitely in deep in this part of the game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if players you know, this looks like a cutscene right here, but
Yeah,
this
it's
is all
totally playable. You know, he's in complete control the whole time. You know, right here you're going to see our new underwater swimming mechanic, which we've never had before.
Yeah, I think Uncharted's always kind of seamlessly blended, you know, cinematics with gameplay
Yeah.
to a point where sometimes it almost makes you have the moment where you have the pause where am I playing,
Yeah.
am I not playing? You know,
Yeah,
it opens the
exactly. And
character.
that's our goal. I mean, we really want to make it, you know, it's a game, right? It's got to feel like a game. So keeping you in control as much as possible while getting that same feel, that's where you know, that's where I think we excel.
So, can you, sorry. So, you know, storytelling, there's always been dialogue in the gameplay in between cutscenes. Like, how important is that, you know, to telling a story? Like, Drake has never just been a silent character, you know, he's
Sure.
always talking, always commentating.
Yeah, and I think
always-
that's hugely important. I mean, not just talking to himself, but talking to the other characters, you know, reacting, he says what the player's thinking when he does that stuff, and that's hugely important to the franchise.
Well, thanks so much for bringing Uncharted
No
by.
problem.
I think it looks fantastic.
Thank you very much.
I can't wait to play it. We get to play it this November, right?
Yeah, this November, 11/1/11.
And the multiplayer demo comes out.
The
October?
October, and then the new demo is coming out the 28th, the early demo. So
Right on. Thank you so much. Back to you, Fred.
Thanks, guys. It's great to see Nathan back in action, and we cannot wait to see more. Now, as a quick reminder to you guys, if you want to catch all of IGN's great video content during E3, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/IGN. And next up on the show, we're going to switch gears from all this Sony coverage. Emphasis on the Gears part. Yep, it's Gears of War 3 single-player campaign, and it's coming up next.